Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for being here today. As always, if you are new here, I want to thank you. I want to welcome you, and please hit that subscribe button. And for those of you who come back every week and support me, I really do appreciate it. I do want to say that I tried to get this video done last night, but I was just so tired. I started it and I'd have to restart, and it just wasn't happening last night, and I could tell that I was not in the right state of mind to do a reading. And I really feel like readings are important, and you should feel at least not utterly exhausted when you're doing a reading. So I decided to just stop it last night and come back today, and I feel much more refreshed and ready to go. And so today's reading is going to be a part 2 on Jolissa Fuentes. A subscriber did reach out to me and ask if I could cover this case again and do a part 2, and I said absolutely, because I do feel like Jolissa is not receiving enough attention. I mean, we could say that about so many, right? So many of these cases, they don't receive nowhere near as much attention as some do. Having said that, though, I do also plan on doing another reading on Kylie Rodney very soon, hopefully either tomorrow or the next day, but I would like to do a reading on her mother. That was also requested. And if you guys have watched the celebration of life speech that her mother made, I don't have much to say about that right now, but definitely want to do a reading. So that is also coming. And I would also like to do a reading on the royal family and what's going on with now King Charles III, and what can we expect coming here in the future. So definitely some readings coming, but today is all about Jolissa. And before I get started on that, I do want to remind all of you that private readings are always available, and I want to thank everyone who has reached out for a private reading here recently. I do appreciate it. And if you're interested in a private reading, all you have to do is email me. I will have my email in the description box. You can set it up. Just reach out. We'll set it up. It's done very similar to a regular weekly reading where it is recorded, and I do upload it to YouTube, but I upload it as a private or an unlisted video. And then once it's up, I send you the link to your video, and that way you can watch it at your convenience and as often as you like. We don't have to match up schedules or, do any kind of Zoom meeting. Everything is there. All questions are on the table. So whatever kind of concerns you have, we can focus on that, or it can just be a general reading with an overall view of all aspects of your life. So either way, just let me know. All right, so let's get going on this. Now, if you are not familiar with Jolissa, Jolissa is a 22-year-old young woman from Selma, California. She went missing on August 7th, I believe, and there's a video footage of Jolissa making a purchase and leaving a convenience store. And I believe that video footage is from August 7th. So if you've seen the video footage, it is a little bit odd. There's some things that kind of stick out to me. I don't know. I haven't really seen many updates, if any updates at all. It's been a couple of weeks since I've watched a video on anything involving Jolissa. But from what I remember, the video seemed strange. She pauses when I can't remember if it's when she gets out of her car to go into the convenience store or when she leaves the convenience store and she's going back into her car, but there's a weird pause. And it's almost like it made me think of if you're getting out of the car or getting in the car and there's somebody in there and they're adding something to the list, like, oh wait, can you grab this for me too? And as you're getting ready to shut the door, you go back and you're like, what did you say? That's kind of what it reminded me of. And I think a lot of people picked up on that as well. And so there's been talk about possibly someone being in the car with her. There's also been talk about the person that was in the convenience store that exited when she was at the checkout. But we will get into that and see what's going on. On my first video, I did pick up almost like a couple, okay, a female and a male. And I'll see if the energy is picking that up again or if we have something totally different. I do realize that Adventures with Purpose did go out and do a search of, I think it was Avocado Lake and a couple of other bodies of water. And unfortunately, well, fortunately and unfortunately, I guess, they did not find Jolissa. So we'll see what's going on. Now, I did not really pick up water when I did that reading, but I did pick up water could be nearby. So we'll see. All right. Jolissa Fuentes. Spirit guides of Jolissa to also help with this reading and to give me any information that could help with this investigation or lead to the finding of Jolissa Fuentes. Jolissa Fuentes, what happened? Jolissa Fuentes, what happened? What happened? What happened to you that night? Tell us the story of what happened. Okay. Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups reversed. That could very well be her mother. That could very well be another female that's connected to this case somehow. We have the Three of Cups reversed. Now, I've been hearing some mixed things about the party that she went to that night, that it was just a get-together. I think at first it came out and it was a party, but then it came out that it really wasn't a party, so I'm not really sure, but there was some sort of get-together. That is clearly coming out. It doesn't have to be a big party. It could have been just her and a couple of friends, and there was drinking. And there's some connection to that party or whatever it was, that get together, to her going missing. Now, it could just be that it happened on the same night, and so that's why it's coming up. But there is some importance to it. All right, so there's a lot of things left to come out. We don't know the whole story. That moon card tells me that, you know, what's done in the dark will come to light eventually. And I do believe that's a good sign that it is coming up upright. It's a good sign because I do feel like it is going to come to light eventually. We are going to get information. I don't know how long it's going to take to get that information, but it's going to come out. And I think that there's a lot more to the story than we realize. All right, the Star reversed. That doesn't give me a good feeling. The Five of Wands. The Seven of Swords. Let me move this out of the way. All right, so I don't like the Seven of Swords coming up. I don't like the Five of Wands coming up. Three of Pentacles makes me feel like this was, you know, this was something that could have either have been planned, or, you know, definitely we've got more than one person involved, okay? So as of yet, I don't know who or what the Queen of Cups is. I just don't have enough information. I'll pull a clarifier to see if we can get where this person is. It's not Jolissa. I do not believe it's Jolissa. So we've got that one that we have to go back to. The Star being reversed really makes me not have a good feeling about the results of this. Okay, just being honest. And then the Five of Wands, I feel like there could have been some sort of an argument or a struggle or a fight or something, a disagreement, something. Again, I have not watched anything. I haven't had time to really watch hardly anything of anything. And I'll be honest with you, I am a huge royal fan person, and so I've been, with what little time I've had lately, I've been watching royal news, and so I haven't even followed anything in Kylie Rodney's case except for just seeing clips of this speech that her mom gave. But I certainly haven't watched anything on Jolissa, and so I'm not sure. The last time I did, like I said, was a couple of weeks ago. And I feel like I heard somebody say something about there could have been a disagreement at this party or something along those lines. That, to me, with this Three of Cups reversed, is very, very possible. I feel like that's most likely did happen and very well could have something to do with her going missing. Okay, so this to me is a result of that party. This is just not two good cards to come up for that get together. And another thing I'm noticing is that I've got two threes. So I've got the Three of Cups, I've also got the Three of Pentacles, and this makes me feel like we could be dealing with at least a couple of people involved in this, and potentially even an older woman or a woman. Like I said, I don't know if that Queen of Cups is her mom. Given the emotional state that she's got to be in right now, that very well could be the mom. But I really don't think so. I'm leaning towards no. And another thing I do want to add is that when I read tarot, I can definitely look at a card and look at it as multiple meanings. Okay, so this could very well be talking about the emotional state of Jolissa's mom and how devastated she is, but it could also represent a female that is involved in this as well. Or it could mean that the mom is somehow connected, and by connected, I don't mean has something to do with it, but perhaps knows the people that are involved, but doesn't realize that they're involved. So it could be like that. So I don't mean connected as in connected, but there could be some group of people that she's aware of or knows of or is familiar with or have heard rumors about. And maybe in the back of her mind is like, I can't prove anything, but I feel like these people are involved. So that's what I mean about connected. Or it could be all of the above. But I will pull a clarifier on that. And then we have the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords really bothers me because this is a deception card. So this is somebody that was in right next to this one here. And this one, this is to me something that's planned. This is not good. These three cards together are not good. This person here is, deceptive, tricky. Okay, they think they're getting away with something, and so far they are, right? Because I do feel like there's foul play here in this particular case. I don't feel like there's anything here that's pointing to an accident, not with these two cards or this card. So I do feel like there is foul play. As of right now, this person is getting away with whatever they've done. And as of right now, I would say that they feel pretty confident that they have gotten away with it. There's a smirk on his face, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a smirk on his face that just shows that he's happy with himself. He's proud of himself. He's did whatever he did, and he's gotten away with it. But also this one here really does concern me because this is planning and preparation. These three people are working. They are working, okay? They're trying to get a job done. So what job was it that they were trying to get done? What were they planning? Okay, what are they working on? So so I'm not overly happy with what has come out so far. Let me pull a couple more cards in this deck, and then I'll switch over to a different deck. All right, Jolissa Fuentes. What happened to Jolissa Fuentes? What happened to Jolissa Fuentes? Eight of Swords. Okay, the King of Cups. Okay, Six of Swords reversed. Emperor. What the hell is that? Okay. Couple major arcanas. Okay. Let me take this Hierophant really quick. And let me pull that Three of Pentacles back out. And that Seven of Swords. What else do we got? Okay. So this one right here really does concern me. This one here can have a multitude of meanings, but generally it's, sometimes associated to religion or guidance. Sometimes it can even represent a marriage because it looks kind of like we've got a pastor or a preacher here and we've got two people down here. This one is interesting to me. Immediately when it came out, it stuck out to me because of this one here. We've got three people. And we've also got three people here. We've got this guy up here who is obviously the one in charge of these two people down here. Okay, is that the person who gave this order here? Is that a person who possibly sent out two people? Could this be one and the same, the Emperor? I do remember hearing that there was a lot of gang activity in that area. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Jolissa had a friend that had been murdered in the past couple of years. I don't exactly remember when or how recent it was, but and I might be wrong, so don't quote me on this. And you can even tell me in the comment section I don't always respond, but I do read them. So I apologize about that. I'm really bad at responding, but I do generally go through them and read them, and so I do appreciate them. But if there's any information about this friend and this gang activity or gang-related crime, I would be really curious to know, because I'm looking at this person here as some sort of a leader, a gang leader is what I'm seeing. And this is also the person that's giving the orders to these two guys down here. And I'm seeing these three people here working together to put something in practice or planning something. And then again, we've got this deception card. So I'm seeing a lot of cards that I don't really like for her reading in the way that they're coming up. Now, the Emperor could be also her father, right? He could also be her father. It could be law enforcement. But with it being right next to the Hierophant, I just have to, in my opinion, and I could be absolutely wrong, and you may see the Emperor as someone else or even the Hierophant as someone else, but I'm looking at this person as an older individual who is, very much in a leadership role, okay, and has people below him, that take orders from him. What I want to know is, what kind of orders do they take? Okay, is this, something that's, okay, like law enforcement, or is it something that is more gang related? And that's kind of where I'm leaning towards. So now we also have this Six of Swords. It is reversed, so this is leaving, this is moving, this is transportation. That makes me feel like she was actually moved. Okay, she and potentially her car were actually moved. Now, the way I'm looking at this card is I almost look at this as being Jolissa, okay? Or I'm seeing three people. Again, three people. Three people could have been involved in moving her. I look at that boat and as her vehicle, and I'm not quite sure if I'm seeing this as Jolissa or the swords as Jolissa, okay? So, and her belongings, whatever her belongings were at that time. And so this concerns me and makes me think that she could very well have been moved out of that area or away from that area. And that's why they're not finding her. Again, we do have water, so water could be involved, or, perhaps she's near water, but not in that area. And then, this one here bothers me, the Eight of Swords. So that does make me feel like, again, it makes me think back to these swords on this Six of Swords. And I said I felt like these swords could represent her. And I know that's not typically how people look at the cards, but when I'm reading on true crime, I do tweak a little bit. And so I just go with what I feel. This is obviously Jolissa, and this is her being held against her will. Now, typically the Eight of Swords is a mental hold, right? It's something that's in your mind, but not in true crime. I look at it as a literal hold. This is a person that's being held, against her will, and potentially could have been tied up. And those swords obviously represent some sort of. I look at it as literally some sort of an enclosure. Could it be a structure, a house, a car? Absolutely, anything's possible, but this is definitely her being held against her will. That's why I feel like absolutely this is foul play. This is not an accident. I don't think, in my opinion, this is not an accident. She didn't just drive off somewhere, or she very well may have drove off to have some quiet time. That could have very well have happened or been on her plan or her mind that night, but she ran into trouble as she was doing that, okay? And I feel like this was because of that Three of Pentacles. I feel like this was planned. I feel like these people had this planned for that night. They knew what was going on. I also look at this Five of Wands as potentially putting up a fight. So not just a disagreement, but putting up a fight. That party card could have came up because maybe it started at that time. Maybe it started at this get together and then it just continued on and lingered on. But I actually don't, I feel like it's more than that. I feel like this was something that was set into motion before she even attended this get together. This was something to me that had been planned for, not a very long time, but at least prior to that day. And again, this Ace of Wands does make me feel like this was in the works. Okay, this was not as a result of an argument at the party or this get together, but this was already in the works. Okay, maybe if an argument did happen at this get together, it was a result of this plan that was in the works and not the other way around. So that's the way I'm kind of looking at this one here. And then we have the Four of Wands. So again, this is all about celebration. This is, sometimes represents marriage, but I also look at fours as representing home, foundation, structure. And we do have a house. We do have a structure in this thing, and it looks like a family. And so this almost makes me feel like there is a connection somehow to the family in the... And by connection, I mean just like what I said with the mom. I feel like they deep down inside of their heart, they have an idea or they suspect who is responsible. But for whatever reason, it could be because they're scared to death, because they know this person is not to be messed with. They're not going to mess up. They're not going to say. I think that they are absolutely desperate to find their daughter. And they're praying beyond imagination that the police will actually, get it right and get it right on their own and not have to provide any information, and risk someone else getting hurt or harmed or going missing. But this actually makes me feel like this whole thing is just a little bit closer to home than we realize. And let's not forget that moon card. Okay, there's some things that I feel like in this case that are going to come out eventually, and it's going to be like, wow. I don't know what size town Selma is. I'd be interested in knowing, is this a big city? Is it a small town? Does everybody know everybody? Because if it's a small town, I could see why some of the cards are coming out. It kind of strikes me as a small area where everybody knows everybody. I could be wrong, but I think the parents have an idea and they don't want to say, or they're too scared to say. And like I said, are just hoping that the police do their due diligence and find out what happened to Jolissa. All right, so this is a love oracle, and I'm not pulling it as a love oracle. I'm pulling it as just to get an idea of the person or persons responsible for Jolissa going missing. Okay, and I like this deck. This is a new deck. I like it because it has some interesting traits on each of these cards, and I'm just curious to see if we can get some more information on the people behind this. Okay, some information on the people responsible for Jolissa going missing. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. That's interesting. First of all, we've got the snake. That's that Seven of Swords. Competition, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder, and the other woman. Wow. Clever and malicious really stick out. That's crazy. It also makes me think back to that Queen of Cups reversed. And in my first reading, I felt like there was a potential relationship, maybe even involved in Jolissa's disappearance. And, granted, I know this is a love oracle, so there are some connotations of a relationship, but anything's possible at this point. And I'm still thinking of that first draw or that first reading. This is interesting. And then we have not today. So hurt, avoiding a person, avoiding a conversation, avoiding calling a person, boundaries, and still being angry. The still being angry actually piques my interest because of Jolissa's friend that was murdered. So there might have been some feelings that she was harboring, especially if she knew who was responsible. Or suspected who was responsible, and just really harboring those emotions and not dealing with them. And could that have led to something? Let me pull one more because this is interesting. Okay. The Golden Mirror. Self-absorbed, narcissist, one-sided relationship, and love bombing. self-absorbed and narcissistic, one-sided relationship. Interesting. I don't know, that kind of gives us that snake really, the still angry and not dealing and hurt, and the cleverness and the maliciousness and the other woman really kind of piqued my interest, and I'm going to leave those 3 cards out. All right, so let me see, what deck do I want to use? Let me use this one here. All right, so now I just want to go straight to, where is Jolissa? Can we get some information on where Jolissa might be right now? Can we get some information on where Jolissa might be right now? Any information that could potentially help this investigation? Jolissa, can you tell us where you're at, please? Can you tell us where you're at so that your family can find you? Can you tell us where you're at? Give us some clues in these cards somehow, some way. Tell us where you're at. However you want to describe it. Okay. 4 of Cups. 2 of Pentacles. The 6 of Wands reversed. The World card reversed. The Devil reversed. The Sun card reversed. Okay, so as far as Jolissa is concerned, and her being alive and well, there's cards here that are making me feel that is probably not what's happening. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. I'm not getting a good vibe on the World card or the Sun card being reversed. That World card is a completion. Okay, when it comes out reversed, it's a completion that happened, but perhaps it was not the right time or not the right ending, or just a kind of a negative vibe on that particular card. And so I see the light of this person here, and it's almost like the light is, the light has went out. And so it just doesn't, make me feel good. And as well with the Sun card too. Okay, so it's, like it just is an ending, but it's not a good ending. And then smack dab in the middle of those 2 cards, we have the Devil reversed. And that to me does make me feel like there is a very, very malicious person or persons behind her disappearance. I feel confident in saying that this is absolutely foul play, that she did not just go off and have an accident or leave by choice. Okay, I do feel like she was almost just, she was targeted. This was something that had been in the works for at least a couple of days, I would say, at least a couple of days. And, she was kind of just caught off guard. I don't really feel like she expected it, and this was just not supposed to happen, but it did. The Devil here, I like how they put an emphasis on sweets and moderation and things like that. But in this particular case, I do look at this as a very malicious and evil person that's behind this. And I can't help but to think back to that Emperor and that Hierophant. And then we have, as far as where she's at, the first card that comes out is, outside. I mean, this, I literally look at her as Jolissa. And it makes me feel like she is literally outside. I just don't know where, okay? I don't get water, okay? Even though that 6 of Swords kind of made me feel like water could be a factor here somehow. Perhaps they had to traverse over water to get to a different location. But I feel like she's definitely not in that area. There's been some transportation. There's been transportation, I think, without a doubt, with that 6 of Swords. So transportation has taken place. And so if she is outside, they're not overly concerned about it because they may have tried to conceal her, and it's not going to be an area that law enforcement is going to search. They're not even going to think about it. And there's a million of those places. So it's literally like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I want to see if I can pull a couple more cards in a different deck to see if I can get more of an idea of geography. If we can kind of see what the area looks like. The Six of Wands, again, this makes me kind of go with the Sun card and the World card reversed. This is also a reversed. And so this one here, though, gives me, yes, outside, but possibly, you know, in a mountainous area. I mean, could she have been put someplace over a cliff somewhere or anything like that? Now, this is California. I know California does have mountains and hills and things like that. I don't know anything about Selma or the surrounding areas, but, you know, this to me makes me feel like this is an area could she have tried to climb out of and was not successful in doing so. You know, because this is her trying to get out. This is her trying to climb up over this mountain or out of this hole or whatever this is. And with it being reversed makes me feel like she just wasn't successful. It almost makes me feel like she could have been even alive at that time, because even here, you know, when I'm looking at these two cards, it's almost like, was she put someplace alive and, you know, put in a situation where she couldn't get out? You know, it was just impossible, and, you know, just ended up staying there, unfortunately. That's kind of sadly how I'm feeling with these cards. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. So the thing about the Two of Pentacles is, well, let me look at this one for a second. We've got planning, we've got looking, we've got researching, working. Can I get a clarifier on the Two of Pentacles, please? Can I get a clarifier on the Two of Pentacles? I mean, my first inclination is to say two people. Two people are responsible for putting her in this location. But I want more. Let me get a clarifier. The Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups. Could that be a person? Now, this would be somebody that I would really look at as more around Jolissa's age. And this is, to me, a male, okay, in this particular case. And this is somebody that she could have been in a relationship with or a friendship with. This is somebody that she was close to. Now, they're coming up as a clarifier for that Two of Pentacles. And I don't necessarily get a horribly negative vibe from the Two of Pentacles in this deck. I see her looking, I see her working and mixing things and trying to get something done, basically. So she's working. She's trying to create something, a finished product. And so it very well could be that if there is this person in Jolissa's life, that he's desperately trying to work on figuring out where she's at. Okay, he just doesn't have all the pieces of the puzzle yet, but he is working on it. The reason why it's coming out, though, you know, that's another thing entirely. It's important because it's coming out for a reason. And so since we're talking about her location, it makes me wonder if there's somebody in her life that she was close with that has kind of maybe an idea of where they think she might be. That's interesting. And then also I'm noticing that this person here, he's daydreaming, right? This is the Knight of Cups. So that, like, you know, that relationship card, that knight in shining armor card. And he's thinking about her. You know, whoever this is, this person is thinking about Jolissa. Jolissa is on his mind day in and day out. So I feel like this is a person that truly, truly, genuinely cares for Jolissa. And I don't know if he's trying to make contact with her. I don't know if I'm getting something like that. I'm picking up a little bit of a vibe of where he is trying to connect with her and see if he can somehow, to me, and then when I look at these two, it's almost like he's trying to conjure up something. He's trying to connect with her on a spiritual level and trying to get information. He's trying desperately to figure out where she is. That's interesting. And then that Four of Cups, it's almost the same. It's like she's doing it. That's an interesting 3 cards, to be honest with you. It's almost like to me, they're connected. These two, Jolissa and whoever this is, they're connected on a very, very deep emotional and spiritual level. Doesn't even have to be a boyfriend, okay? It really doesn't. We can take out the relationship aspect. This could be a family member, like a brother, somebody young, somebody as young as Jolissa, or in that age range. And I know she has a brother. It makes me wonder if even the brother is trying to, on a deep, profound spiritual level, is he trying to connect with his sister to try to get information on what's going on or where she is or what happened? I hope that he's careful with that, because this one here, the Conjuring card, I'm going to call it the Conjuring card because it's like she's whipping up her brew, right? I'm looking at that as like a cauldron and all of those types of things. And so it makes me feel like he could be doing something. I think he may be doing something with good intent as far as trying to locate his sister. And this may not be the brother. It may be, so I guess let me rephrase that. Whoever this is, I hope they're being careful, because I feel like the intent is good, but may not be, I don't know. You just have to be careful with that stuff. And because that also, to me, shows that this person's mindset right now is very much, devastation and hurt, and is just desperately trying to get information. Very interesting. A couple more cards on location, please. A couple more cards on location. What do I have here? I have one that's flipped upright. We're going to take that. Page of Wands. Yeah. Again, I think that they put her somewhere alive. I really do. This Page of Wands here is almost like this one here. Where was that other card here? What was that? Was it the Four of Cups? I think that one. This makes me feel like they literally abandoned her in a place where, she was kind of stuck. And there's something around her. There's something around her that she didn't like. I'm looking at those lizards, and I want to know what those lizards are, because they are surrounding her. So whatever, that's interesting. I feel like that's a clue. That's a massive clue that's coming out. This card was flipped right side up in the deck. That's why I pulled it. And I don't know. That was a mistake. So for whatever reason, that card was meant to come out. Between this one and this one makes me feel like she's in a situation that she did not like. She was put there. She was put there alive and possibly injured, but alive, and was not able to leave that area. But I don't know what those lizards represent. I don't know if there's, I don't know what they have out in California. Where is Selma? Let me just look at the map real quick, because I don't like the lizards. That's bothering me. If it were just lizards, it wouldn't be so bad, but I don't know what those lizards actually represent. All right, maps. All right, so it's more of like southern, or maybe not quite southern. I don't know if you guys can. No, you probably can't see that. The lighting is awful. Nope, never mind. All right, so it's right on the coast. It's more north than Los Angeles. It's right on the coast. Selma, California. Selma, California. Selma, California. Let me see. Insects. What kind of insects and animals do they have? Do they have spiders, I wonder? Or, I mean, I'm sure they do have spiders. It's California, right? I'm not gonna start looking up spiders. I'll be having nightmares tonight. I don't like this one, guys. I don't like these two cards. I don't like the fact that I feel like she was put in an area or in a location where she was surrounded by things that she shouldn't have been surrounded by, and tried to get out but was unsuccessful. Is there any area in that location that there are mountains or cliffs or, you know, holes in the ground, like, you know, wells or caves or something along those lines? It's almost like I'm getting this desert type feel. Let me pull a couple more here and see. The Six of Pentacles reversed. The Two of Cups reversed. The King of Swords reversed, and one more. The Six of Cups reversed. So there's really an imbalance here that's going on. I mean, this is just not right. I mean, this is something's off with this one, and these cards could be just coming up because, you know, she hasn't been found. I truly pick up, though, that she desperately wants to be found, and people who love and care about her want to find her. So much so that whoever that Knight of Cups is literally willing to do just about anything to try to find out where she's at. But the Two of Cups coming out does make me think back to that Knight of Cups, and I'm really wondering who it is. Again, these cards don't always have to be a relationship. They can just be a regular relationship, a friendship, a bond. Two people that have a connection. It doesn't have to be romantic. Okay, so this very well could be her brother. But with this card still coming up, it does make me wonder if there was somebody in her life that she was with at that time. This person is coming up quite heavily in this reading. And it's not that I pick up anything nefarious or criminal or that this person is involved. I just feel like it's picking up on Jolissa's energy, and Jolissa's energy is, I feel, connected or picking up on this person's energy as well. And you know, she is just absolutely, these two cards here, again, we've got two sixes and they're both reversed, so it's all about balance. This one here is nostalgia, and so it almost, I mean, as far as I know, Jolissa had a brother, right? So we have two kids, we have a mom and two kids. This is literally making me feel like she is sad that this happened. You know, this was, I'm gonna say that I feel like her life was just taken away from her, and it wasn't time. And she greatly misses the people that she loved and who love her. And that's why I feel like all of these cards are coming out in reverse. The only thing that I'm getting as far as her location is, I do think that she's outside. I don't think that she's necessarily being held in a car or in a structure, or that's a question to ask. Where is your car? Where is your car? Where is your car? Because I don't think that Jolissa at this point is with her car. Six of Swords. Okay, so we've got, it's been moved. The car has been taken away. I would feel safe to say that her car is nowhere near Selma at this point. Is your car still in California? Is the car still in California? The Three of Cups. They moved her car at night. In more than one person. We've got three people coming up again. So there's more than one person involved in this, which I've said from the beginning. Her car was moved at night. We've got the three again. Three of Wands. Three people. Five of Pentacles. Judgment. Interesting. So, yeah, we've got three people. At the very least, there's three people involved. But her car, I think, was moved at night, and she was not in it. I don't believe that she was in it. The Five of Pentacles, again, that could actually be why we're not getting much of a location, because I don't even know if Jolissa knows where she's at. This is all about confusion. Literally with this deck, this woman is standing in the middle of the woods in the middle of winter, and she's lost, right? She doesn't know which direction she's going in. She's got these two signs here, these two little elves, and they're both pointing in the opposite direction, and so it's confusion. She's lost. I don't think that she knows where she's at, but I do think that she's outside. I believe that she's outside, and she's, that cold that bothers me, because I feel like this is a place that does get cold at night, just like the desert. So it's like hot during the day and it's cold at night, and so it makes me feel like she very well could have been cold, because she, although I think that she, is still dressed, she wasn't properly dressed for the weather at nighttime. But this to me just is telling me that she doesn't really quite know where she's at. I think that she's giving as many clues as she possibly can. She's outside, she's cold possibly at night. And I hate even talking like that, but, that's what I'm picking up. And, there could be trees around, there could be mountains around. But those mountains at Six of Wands really gives me a bad feeling that she tried to get out of this situation. She tried to get out of whatever hole she was in, and was not able to do it successfully. And I don't like the lizards, and it could very well be lizards. I'm sure lizards are in that area as well, but there's things around her, and I don't like that. And then we've got Judgment. So again, this gives me good hope that there is going to be some sort of karma in this case. I hope that it's not just karma, but I hope that it's justice as well, like a legal justice. But this card coming out, and the fact that it's coming out upright, does give me some hope. So we can literally pray. She is literally praying that this is going to, whatever her outcome is, that it's going to be the right outcome. And so I think that that's all we can do at this point, is pray that there is justice in this case, and that someone finds Jolissa. But I think that they're needing to look in a place that they wouldn't even suspect, and that's a million different places. Let me just pull a couple of cards on if this case is ever going to be solved, if the family is ever going to have closure. Let me see. Pull this one here. All right, the outcome of this case with Jolissa Fuentes. Will Jolissa ever be found? Will Jolissa ever be found? We've got that Emperor again. Interesting. Will Jolissa ever be found? What's going to be the outcome of this case? Will there be justice in the Jolissa Fuentes case? Huh. Okay. Ace of Wands. The Chariot. Okay, good. Let me pull one more. Oh, very interesting. I like this. I like this outcome. First of all, I think that the case is going to move forward. We've got that Chariot. So this case is moving forward. We may not get very many updates, but I think whoever is behind this force of going forward, they're going to make sure that this case is continued to be looked at. Again, I don't know who's behind that, but this very well could just be the family. The family just literally insisting that this case continue to be looked into. And I think it will be. And this is also a card of balance. And when I literally pulled these cards, I asked, my question was, is there going to be justice for Jolissa Fuentes? And I look at aces as a hard yes. Okay, so I feel like there is going to be justice. I don't necessarily know when. I've got a time oracle here, and I could pull a card as far as timing. When will Jolissa Fuentes' case have some answers? When will we have answers for Jolissa Fuentes and her family? It says here within the next 3 weeks, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully that would be great if we do have some answers within the next few weeks. So maybe at the very least, there could be an update, okay, or something found, or some information, or even if it's a press conference within the next couple of weeks or 3 weeks. So that's hopeful, but I do feel like that ace is a yes. Okay, I do feel like there's going to be justice in this working card. You know, this working card has two different meanings. I feel like it represents the work that's being put in to this case in the investigation. It could also represent multiple departments or jurisdictions, or, you know, different roles that are being involved. Maybe it represents the law enforcement and the family and the community. But it's a teamwork card, and this is going to be done by teamwork, right? So there's that. And then it also makes me think back to the Three of Pentacles when I pulled it with the Emperor and the Hierophant, and that coming up upright makes me feel good too, because they could very well be taken down. Okay, so they're coming up in the justice question. So, and the Emperor again. So again, this could be, I feel like these cards have multiple meanings. I think that this could very well be her father. Okay, so he could be that force behind making sure this thing gets solved. He's not giving up. It could be law enforcement, or it could be that Emperor in the beginning, that Emperor slash Hierophant, that leader, potentially that gang leader that is the one calling and running the show, okay, and the one that was setting this up or behind this whole thing. And again, he's coming out with the justice question as well, and that gives me hope that, you know, potentially law enforcement could in fact find out who is behind it, and there will be justice. Either way I look at it, I feel like these are all good cards to come out for that question. So let's just keep praying that Jolissa Fuentes is found eventually, and praying for her family. And you know, I feel like they are absolutely beyond devastated at this point. And there's somebody, whoever that Knight of Cups is having an extremely difficult time coping with this. Okay, so I'll say that. But let's just pray that we have answers in this case. So again, thank you guys for being here today. I'm going to end the reading on that, because I like these four. That's where I feel like the reading is done. And that's a good pull. That's a good pull for the ending. So let's just pray for justice. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here, and I will see all of you next time. Have a great day.